Audible Pulse Pose. Hello, welcome back. I'm delighted about having you accompany us once again for a discussion of the intriguing and at times confusing realm of nutrition. We were analyzing those layered labels on the supermarket shelves, and it sounds like it occurred only yesterday. Tackling the puzzles of portion sizes, interpreting ingredient lists, and debunking fraudulent marketing claims that attempt to deceive us. Isn't it liberating to enter a grocery shop with the information necessary to make decisions that will actually benefit our bodies? When we faced an enormous entity the last time, who would have thought? Exploring several dimensions of veganism, the paleo, keto, and fasting intermediately, we navigated the path of doughy diets. We balanced the advantages and disadvantages, dispelling myths while offering you the information necessary to determine what may or may not be the best option for you. Given that, let's face it, as far as nourishing our bodies goes, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. It comes down to understanding what gives you a strength, what gives you power, and what gives you support. Considering the research into the nuances of food labeling and the wide world of diet fashions, it seems that we ought to turn our focus to something a bit more, amazing. We are discussing superfoods. These nutritional superstars appear to offer all things, from flawless skin to unlimited energy. But what's the root of all the excitement? Do they genuinely live up to their names, or are they just merely a marketing scam? We're going to investigate that very topic today. Expect to learn the facts of nutritional power sources and why including them in a balanced diet can boost your digestive and general health. I can't wait to discuss this subject in further detail with you, as well with additionally speaking with our expert. While the term superfood is often employed, what attributes actually represent a food suitable for that name? Are the accusations supported by real studies, or are they simply just marketing terminology? We're hoping to cut through all that noise today and go straight to the root of everything that makes these food styles unique. Prepare yourself by discovering how incorporating these into your well-balanced diet can lead to an overall well-being. Right now, let's explore what we'll be discussing today. First off, investigating the powerhouse of antioxidant compounds. We'll analyze how antioxidants, including those green vegetables and fruits, may battle inflammation and cellular oxidative stress. Anticipate a comprehensive investigation of how such compounds function at the level of cells to foster long-term health. Understanding how this could aid people with any other medical condition they may be suffering is the main objective here. Number 2, recognizing the world's legendary nutritional profiles. Spanning the omega-3 abundance of fish to the dietary fiber and protein powder of quinoa, we're going to investigate the distinctive dietary makeup of superfoods from around the globe. We'll understand why certain substances are so tempting for our bodies. To discover more about these international greats, we'll also be interviewing a dietitian. Lastly, we'll be incorporating superfoods into your everyday routine. I'll be giving you valuable tips and suggestions for recipes to ensure that you have no trouble including these rich in nutrient superfoods into your diet. Prepare to add pleasure and utility to the food you eat. Alright then, so now since we recognize what we're exactly discussing, let's dive a little bit deeper. Let's dive into our first topic, unpacking the powerhouse of antioxidants. Superfoods' strong antioxidant concentration constitutes what is their greatest assurances. What does that genuinely suggest, though? Antioxidants are compounds that assist to shield our cells against harm that free radicals, which are unpredictable chemicals that can cause aging and sickness, can do. Picture that your cells are dazzling metal that are slowly losing its shine, aka oxidation. Rust can be avoided by, drumroll please, antioxidants. For instance, berries are rich in anthocyanins, which are antioxidants. Based on research, these antioxidants can lessen oxidative stress and inflammation in the body. Higher intake of anthocyanins is actually correlated with a lower risk of cardiovascular illness. according to findings published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Here's our second topic of discussion: deciphering the world's legends of nutritional profiles. Now, let's examine several re-owned superfoods and look a little bit into how they work. First off, turmeric. Curcumin, an effective anti-inflammatory substance, is found within this colorful spice. Curcumin can assist with reducing symptoms of arthritis, according to studies. You can also additionally brew a turmeric latte or compromise the powder into your meals. Second, avocados. Packed with dietary fiber, potassium, and beneficial fats, avocados are a velvety fruit. Avocados have monosaturated lipids, which have the potential to lower cholesterol. Third, chia seeds. Small, yet strong. Protein, fiber, and omega-3 fatty acids are all plentiful in the seeds of chia. A large portion of your everyday fiber demands must be met through a single ounce, which promotes fullness and intestinal wellness. Salmon in the wild will be our fourth. Rich omega-3 fats, which are essential in lowering irritation and supporting the brain function. Salmon omega-3 fatty acids may also support cardiovascular wellness. It is crucial to keep in mind that no matter how superior a single dish is, it won't solve every single issue. It's more about seeing the bigger picture. Include superfoods in your everyday routine. How can we include these nutritious foods in our regular diets then? Beginning small and making lasting changes is what's the key and is essential. Here are some examples. Starting off with breakfast. Top a bowl of yogurt or cereal with berries. Garnish your smoothie with the seeds of chia. Lunch. Top your sandwich or salad off with some avocado. Dinner. Add curcumin to your soups or stew. Fish is also a nutritious source of energy that may be roasted or grilled depending on your preference. Snacks. Snack on a piece of fruit or an assortment of nuts and seeds, including those of chia. Don't be forced to entirely change your eating habits in one sitting. See the way that you feel after focusing on consuming just a few superfoods at a time. Diversity is also important. Eat more than a single superfood at a time. In order to make sure that you're obtaining a variety of nutrients, change it up a little bit. Moving on, I'll be pleased to be introducing Shelby Santin, a certified dietitian, to go deeper into the scientific basis of superfoods. Shelby is a nutritional specialist who has studied the function of phytonutrients and how they affect human wellness in great detail. Let's listen to a little bit of Shelby's thoughts.
Thank you so much for inviting me to be a guest. It's so great that you're interested in learning more about nutrition from registered dietitians and other experts. And I love that you're specifically focusing on how to navigate the challenges for those with food allergies and other dietary restrictions. I think this information is much needed. I just want to share a little bit about me and my background and philosophy. My name is Shelby Santin. I am a weight-inclusive and anti-diet registered dietitian that specializes in eating disorders, intuitive eating, and helping clients develop a positive relationship with food and body image. And I am located in the Washington, D.C. metro area. From my understanding, I don't believe that there's an agreed upon definition of a superfood. I think when people use this term, they were referring to a nutrient-dense food in general. Personally, in my practice, I don't tend to refer to certain foods as quote-unquote superfoods. The reason for this is that the term sort of insinuates that certain foods are inherently better than other foods. And in my practice, I actually encourage people to take a more neutral approach to food and not label foods as good, bad, junk, clean, etc., or any term that may be linked to a moral value, which may be a totally different approach to nutrition than what people are used to hearing about. So this may be the first time you're hearing this approach to nutrition. But in reality, any food that you eat is going to provide your body with a different composition of nutrients of macro and micronutrients that then your body will use to fuel basic bodily functions, and we cannot get all our nutrients from one food or even a handful of foods. And eating a variety of foods from all the different food groups is what is the best foundation for balanced nutrition. Assigning a moral value to certain foods can actually make figuring out how to fuel our bodies a lot more challenging, or even lead to feelings of guilt or shame, or, around eating certain foods that aren't considered superfoods. I do not think that traditional wisdom clashes with nutritional science at all. I think all cultures have their own norms around food, which is so interesting to me. And there's so many different ways to nourish our bodies and get the nutrients we need from food that it absolutely can be done by eating foods within any culture, food norm, or tradition. Also, I always like to think of food as more than just a breakdown of nutrients. Food is also something that can nourish connections with others, with your culture, with your heritage, and this is a really beautiful thing and something that's really important in terms of a healthy relationship with food, is being able to kind of see it for more than just something that fuels our bodies. So if someone asked me if they could only add one superfood to their diet, I would say I don't think one food will make or break overall balance or health and wellness when it comes to nutrition. And I think focusing actually on one food or a few foods can kind of allow you to lose context when it comes to nutrition. It's really more about what you're eating, on a week-to-week basis, month-to-month basis, really kind of more big picture. And so I think instead focusing on eating consistently and a variety of different types of food from all the food groups to whatever extent is possible to you is most important. And, what foods we like, what foods we have access to, or what we're exposed to will vary greatly depending on so many different factors. So it would be hard for me to choose one food that would be most appropriate for every person. This is a great question. I think one of the mindset shifts that I recommend to help people, from seeing nutrition as restrictive to empowering is, in general, taking a more zoomed out perspective to nutrition and health. I think it's really easy to focus on what you ate one day, 1 week, one meal, and I feel like it has such a big impact on your health or how you feel. And this can lead to a very zoomed in approach to food and then lead to kind of negative or restrictive thoughts around food, or even just put a lot of pressure around every food decision at every meal. So I think zooming out and thinking more about your diet overall or in a big picture way, and then kind of considering what your personal goals are for nutrition and health is really the approach I recommend. And from this zoomed out perspective, also trying to remember that there is no one right way to nourish your body, and you have a lot of choice and autonomy in what's important to you. If, when you're kind of zoomed out, you see that there are some changes you want to make or some tweaks you want to work on in terms of nutrition, I always recommend focusing more on what you can add to your diet instead of focusing on what you can take away. And I think also kind of remembering that there's no need to do a full overhaul and change everything in terms of your diet, little small tweaks or changes that you want to make, or maybe a nutrient that you want to try to incorporate more of, is actually a lot more sustainable thinking about it that way, and I think overall healthier for your mental and physical health versus trying to follow a very strict diet or start, entering into a more restrictive mentality around food. That's a great question. It can be really difficult navigating a food allergy. There's also some research to show a possible association between people who have food allergies and eating disorder prevalence. I think there needs to be a lot more research on these overlaps. However, I definitely have seen this in my practice, that it can negatively impact someone's relationship with food. It can bring up so much more stress and anxiety with eating, especially when someone is away from home or in a new environment, and it requires so much more energy to navigate, read food labels, and it comes along with a reasonable amount of fear with eating. I think it can also be difficult to navigate advocating for accommodations around food when needed, and this can lead to, not getting what you need in a social situation or just feeling different or left out.
That was extremely intelligent of Shelby. I admire her explaining the complex science behind superfoods in such an accessible manner. Without a doubt, her knowledge has given those who listen to the tools and required to make educated choices on including these rich nutrients as engines in their diet. Okay, so transitioning a little bit more, I am aware that getting a lot of vitamins and minerals from what you consume might be challenging at times. Supplements could be simpler and easier to use in particular circumstances. Although supplements are no means a substitute for integrating superfoods into your daily routine, if you're having trouble adopting so, here are a few great ways to do it. Let's get started by discussing the items and methods to acquire these superfoods. Number 1, superfood powders. Whenever it involves convenience, superfood powders are superb. Consider powdered acai, maca, or spirulina. They can be added to baked goods, milk products, oatmeal, and even smoothies. But pay attention to where you get them. Seek out reliable businesses that don't do too much heavy metal and purity testing. Next, fruit and vegetables that are probably preserved. Never disregard the impact of freezing. In order to preserve their nutritious worth, they are usually picked at their ripest and stored right away. Having a bag of frozen kale, spinach, or berries available makes it simple to include a few veggies into your meals or prepare an instant smoothie. These can be purchased at almost every supermarket. Let's also discuss some dietary supplements. Warning: whenever beginning a new supplement treatment, always seek advice from a healthcare expert or certified dietitian. These serve as examples and may not be suitable for necessarily all people. Chlorella and spirulina are rich in nutrients and antioxidant rich in algae. They come in pill, capsule, and powder form. Going back, turmeric and curcumin. Renowned for its ability to reduce inflammation, turmeric may be added to food or taken in the form of a supplement. To improve digestion, seek out a product that has piperine or black pepper included. Let's wrap up with a few offerings that actually might be useful. First off, meal kit delivery companies. A few meal box delivery companies provides choices that are stress-balanced, nutritious meals and include superfoods. Finding novel cooking methods and adding foods with greater nutritional value to your diet may be accompanied in this way. Personal nutrition assessment section. You can create a customized strategy to including your superfoods in your diet regimen in a way that suits your specific needs and preferences by cultivating a qualified dietitian, such as Shelby Santin, along with ensuring that you're getting what you need out of your food. They might help you with addressing any fundamental vitamin shortages. Here, we looked at a variety of superfoods, ranging from the omega-3 riches of chia seeds to the vivid colors of berries that are loaded with antioxidants. The science underlying their remarkable nutritional characteristics, as well as how they may have become healthy, has been disclosed. The most important lesson, though, is that you have been given the tools to make more informed choices regarding the tasks that you put on your plate, because information is power. Don't be tempted to change your entire diet entirely overnight or seek the elusive perfect diet. Start tiny. Try different things and discover superfoods that you truly enjoy and that go harmoniously with your everyday life. Every wise decision you undertake, regardless of how minor, is a step in the right direction, since nutrition is an adventure rather than simply a destination. Your personal health is something that you design. Accept the potential of a superfood as helpful companions in your quest for a better and more energetic life rather than just some magical cures. Transitioning over to the topic of our next episode, the upcoming special episode of Palatable Pulse will be called, drumroll please, Glazed Guides, Navigating Food Allergies, a Comprehensive Guide. We want to provide assistance as we're having those dietary challenges can do on an enormous effect on day-to-day living. The main triggers of allergic reactions will be covered in this episode, along with distinct symptoms and a beneficial way to cope with those who must adhere to certain dietary limitations. We'll look at helpful tips for handling possible contamination at home, interpreting food labels, and lastly, eating out safely. We are going to have a conversation with a food allergies expert in our next episode. They will explore fresh possibilities in the study of allergens and provide details about the most recent advances in diagnosis and therapy. We'll talk about the significance of proactive management methods for reducing the likelihood of reactions to allergies, as well as potential recommendations for future treatments. Our listeners will get an understanding about food allergies and how to deal with them thanks to this content. Finally, let's pause for our poem of the day, which has been carefully selected to fuel your soul the exact same way that superfoods fuel your body. Listen straight. A berry bursts a vibrant hue. Antioxidants within, it's true. Protecting cells from a daily strife, fueling health and a vibrant life. A seed so small, yet power untold, omega rich, story to unfold. For brain and heart, a gentle hand, nourishing well across the land. So fuel your plate with mindful care, her rainbow bright beyond compare. For superfoods, a helping hand to health and well-being across the land. This lovely poem reminded us what antioxidants are omnipresent and are really just an asset on this journey. We examined which items are accessible, their pros and cons, and where to find them. Rather than stressing about certain superfoods, keep in mind that the intention is to create a fun and lasting eating routine that fuels your entire being from the inside to the out. Thus, enjoy the vibrant colors of fruits and vegetables. Try out unfamiliar flavors and pay attention to your body's signals. We really appreciate your time here on Palatable Pulse today, and many thanks for sharing your knowledge, Shelby Santin. For additional useful information, please be sure to visit Shelby's Instagram at Shelby Santin Nutrition and her website at shelbysantinnutrition.com. Glazed guides will be the subject of our upcoming episode. To make sure you don't miss a thing, remember to set up and enable alerts as always. Till then, keep in mind that you deserve a sense of your best self and that you are capable and you are powerful. Take care, and we'll get back to you on Palatable Pulse soon.